Hello and welcome to episode 6 of my season challenge on F1 2012. Just want to say quickly before we start, I have been ill the past few days. I'm over the worst of it now, but my voice is still a bit croaky, so if you do notice that, apologies. Just want to start with this email from Sabine Walker, my agent, who has informed me that after beating Jean-Eric Vergne in the rival challenge, I have been offered a contract by Toro Rosso to drive for them, and I accept that offer. And then I get the nice looking but pointless animation of the Toro Rosso logo. So it's like, yeah, I'm with Toro Rosso now. Great. And that means I've got to pick a new rival who hopefully I can beat. And I'm just behind Kimi Raikkonen in the championship and just ahead of Felipe Massa. And I choose Felipe Massa because I want to drive for Ferrari. Driving for Lotus would be cool, but ultimately I think it would be pretty awesome to drive for Ferrari. So the next race is the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it's raining in quali. It's not massively wet, but it's tricky conditions, so I've got the intermediates on for this qualifying lap, and DRS therefore is not available. So here's my lap around the Interlagos circuit. I think that was about 70 metres before turn 1 braking in. Fairly nice connection with turn 1 and going through the centre S there. Those are difficult corners in the wet because you have to take a fair amount of the curbs, but you can slide on those curbs, so it's difficult. Coming down to turn 4 now, just behind Vettel, about a tenth down, and taking a bit much of the curb and getting wheel spin out of the corner, but still haven't lost too much time yet. Into the middle sector, you brake about 60 metres before that turn in the wet, and it's a fairly difficult one to get absolutely right. And then for that corner, I've locked my brakes rather quite a lot through there, as you will see in the race. And then this corner is kind of similar to the last one, but a bit tighter. And then coming towards the end of the middle sector, this turning is not quite flat out in these conditions. And then this is an important one to get right, because after this you're on the pit straight, there's no more braking to do, you're just accelerating up through the gears. And I didn't really get it very right, because as you can see, the ghost time of Vettel has pulled away from me. It looks about a second and a half in front, and with it being so competitive, I'm going to be quite a way down the grid. As you can see there, I'm 15th. My teammate Daniel Ricciardo is 18th, and Felipe Massa is in 8th. Well, I didn't drop back too much, still 8 tenths off the pace, and at 15th, which shows you how competitive it is. Well, Massa was 4 tenths off, so only 4 tenths of a second slower than the Ferrari, which is not bad for a Toro Rosso. Still raining for the race, so intermediates again, but this is a decent opportunity actually to make a few positions at the start, with it being tricky with the conditions. So hopefully I can pick up some places and get close to Massa off the start line, excuse me. So as you can see, Alonso on pole, Hamilton, Vettel, Schumacher, Button, Webber, Rosberg, Massa, oh my god, I lost count. I think it was something like Perez and Kobayashi, 9th and 10th on the grid, and I'm back in 15th. So it'd be nice to get some points, and if we can get close to Massa, and obviously the aim is to beat him, but 7 places is going to be quite a lot to make up in this race. Might be a bit much, especially considering it's only a 5-lap race, but we'll see how we do. And I've got Senna and Grosjean in front of me, and Raikkonen in 12th. Maybe I should have picked Raikkonen, but anyway, here's the start. 5 lights, and it's go, and that's a decent start. I'm catching Senna, and Maldonado started quite slowly, and Grosjean's gone to the outside, so I'm going to nip up the inside, and there's Massa. Massa's not had a great start. He's 9th or 10th, and I'm alongside Kimi. I'm ahead of Kimi, and I've got Massa right ahead of me, but he's pulled ahead of Perez, so there's someone in between me and Felipe, and Vettel's down in 8th, so he must have had a terrible start. I think he was 3rd, and I'm going up the inside, Looking up the inside and past Massa, and there's Kobayashi, and I've hit Kobayashi, and that's caused me to spin out, and that's lost me a lot of places. I'm back down 15th, 16th place behind my teammate and behind Paul Di Resta in the Force India, so that corner went horribly, and it's lost me a lot of positions, and that's possibly ruined my chances of beating Massa, unless I can do some quick overtaking of these guys. Di Resta and my teammate, Di Resta and Ricciardo, my teammate, ahead of me. It's going to have to be in turn 1 if it's going to be anywhere, I think. But can I stay close to Di Resta coming out of this corner? 0.4 of a second is not much, but he's got better acceleration coming out of that turn, and looks like he's in the slipstream of my teammate, so it's going to be difficult for me to get it from here. I've got Maldonado behind me, but he looks to be far comfortably behind me in terms of he's not going to get a slipstream. But I look to be better on the brakes in turn 1 than the computer, so if I can get close to Di Resta, I might be able to get him in turn 1. Although it'd be nice to overtake him before that, but the middle sectors of Brazil are fairly twisty and turny, so Maldonado's caught up with me a lot. And I've got a purple sector for the first sector, which doesn't make any sense because Di Resta's pulled away and Maldonado's caught me, so great. Well done, Codemasters, that's good. Di Resta is pulling away and Maldonado's right on me, and I keep locking my brakes going into that corner, which is not good. And Maldonado, for a second there, had his nose in front, but I was on the inside, which is obviously an advantage. And that's quite a good line through there. And this turning not quite flat out there. And another purple sector, which doesn't make any sense because Di Resta's pulled away from me by about, 0.8 of a second through that sector, so go figure. But I've pulled away from Maldonado. Well, I haven't actually, he's still right on me. And Di Resta, about 1.5 seconds I reckon this will be. Yeah, pretty much. And wet weather conditions, so obviously no DRS, which is going to make overtaking even more difficult. Massa in 8th, so my hopes of beating Massa here have pretty much gone. It's just a case of making the most of a bad situation. It's not the end of the world because obviously it's a best of 3 in the rival challenge, so you get 3 opportunities to beat your rival. It's the first to win on 2 occasions, so it'd be disappointing to lose this one, but I'm still going to have 2 chances to catch up on tracks that I think are better. And again, I lock up my brakes through there. I've lost a lot of time through that turn in the 3 laps so far. But I look to have caught Di Resta slightly. Looks like he's being backed up by my teammate. Well, there's a train of cars there. Even, I mean, look at that train of cars that's going along the straight. And that's a group that will include Massa. So even he isn't that far ahead of me, really, considering we're on lap 3. The field isn't spreading out, it's bunching up. So someone up has clearly had a great start and made up quite a lot of positions as I'm closing in on Di Resta, but not quite close enough and nearly wide in the first turn, but I have caught up significantly. So yeah, as I was saying, someone must have had a really good start, but now their true their true pace isn't reflective of their position. Might try and have a look at the results to see who it is, because obviously Vettel had a bad start because he was about 8th or 9th when we saw him at the start battling with Massa, so somebody must have got a really good start. And I do better, finally, through that turn. Look at that, a lot better. No locking of brakes, hit the apex, lovely. And it's made a lot of difference. Look how close I am to Di Resta. And my teammate looks to be holding up both of us as I'm trying not to hit the back of Di Resta. If I can stay close here, this is a great chance to overtake him. Start the final lap. I haven't made up any places yet since that first lap incident, which is disappointing, and I've gone really wide there. Used up all my yeah. Used up all my curs, and I'm sort of in the slipstream. I'm definitely in the slipstream, but he's also in the slipstream of Ricardo, and he's slowed down, and this is it. I've got him. I've got him into turn one. I've gone wide, and he's trying to cut back, but I've got the inside into the second part of the centre S, and he's still there alongside me. And well, that was maybe a bit naughty from me because I made him go up onto the curb, but eventually he had to back down, and he's lost a lot of time there, but he hasn't lost any more positions. And now it's me and my teammate. Can I beat my teammate on the last lap? Salvage some pride from this race, and we've lost a lot of time on the pack that's up ahead. And I've done it again, locked my brakes up. I've got that corner right once in this race, which is pretty poor. So even if I had been, you know, a bit further up the field, I probably wouldn't have been able to challenge Massa, because my pace hasn't been good enough really. So we're coming towards the final turns. I've got to get a great exit here if I'm going to have any chance of overtaking Ricardo. And that doesn't look too bad. And I'm using up my curs. And Michael Schumacher's won the race, so maybe that explains why there's a big group up ahead, and I'm in the slipstream sort of Ricardo, and it's too late, but I wasn't too far away in the end. And yeah, I've failed in the rival challenge, and I've also lost to my teammate, and I haven't got any points. So not a great race on the whole, but hey, this thing's happened sometimes. Vettel finished 9th, that's poor for him. Only 4 seconds off the lead. And there's Massa in 8th. So I'm guessing that Schumacher was just holding up everyone. Yeah, look, only 2 tenths between him and Mark Webber. I can't remember where he started. He must have had a great start, because I don't remember seeing him near the front. And he's literally held everyone up. So anyway, that's the end of episode 6. I'll see you guys for episode 7.